Hi Stampers, it's Nancy Novak from Stampin' Shout. Welcome back. Today is day 2 of our Night Divine classes. We're crafting with the Night Divine dies, and I'd like to chat just a little bit about finding your inspiration. Hopefully my videos have been a source of inspiration for you, but I also want to highlight our Stampin' Up catalogs. They're a fantastic idea for resources. So here's the new mini catalog, and this is where I found the inspiration for today's card. So we're using the Night Divine dies right there. And this stamp set also coordinates with, or the dies also coordinate with the stamp set called Night Divine. Now I didn't get the stamp set. I'm going to show you some of the other stamp sentiments that I used, other stamp sets for the sentiments that I found. But right there, let's see, this is page 16. That is the inspiration for today's card. So let me bring my card in and show you. So that's today's card. And again, that's where I got the inspiration from. Pretty cool, huh? So if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'm here to assist you with all your stamping needs, and I can even send you a little mini catalog if you're interested. But right now, let's dive into today's creative project. So I want to bring in, this is the full sheet that I cut our piece from today. So here it is. And I got 3 pieces out of this bottom part. So I cut 5 inches across the top and then 4 inches. So that's what this is, 5 by 4. And then this piece up here I'm using for other cards. And this is the opposite side. So I just wanted to mention that you get, I cut that to 5, actually it's, hang on, I'm not sure, let me double check. It's 5 1/4 by 4. So let me bring in the other supplies. So I'm using a base of Night of Navy, 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. Inside I have Very Vanilla, and then on the outside I have a mat of crumb cake and our designer series paper, and then I have some scraps. So let me bring in all these scraps and I'll show you exactly what I cut out. So basically when you use these dies, it's as simple as cutting them out and putting them on your paper in whatever layout you have, you know, using that pretty Oh Holy Night designer series paper is gorgeous. So I have black here, and that's for part of my sentiment. And I have crumb cake, and I'm going to cut that square out. Now these 2 pieces, if you remember, those are from the autumn leaves dies that we used last week. So I'm going to use those again this week for my sentiments. And then I'm going to bring in, I'm going to cut out a camel, and I'm going to cut out a donkey, and a cow, and a sheep. And I already cut out those exact same animals in black. So let me cut this stuff out, and we'll continue with our card. Okay, so let's talk again about everything that we cut out. So we cut all the animals out in black, and then I cut another set of animals in the crumb cake. I cut out the little square for the sentiment. And I forgot to mention that I cut out 2 white clouds. So the white clouds are from the Give It a Whirl stamp set. So I have 2 white clouds. So this piece here, before I cut this piece out for the sentiment, I'm going to go ahead and stamp and emboss. So let me bring in my little embossing buddy and Versamark. And the stamp I'm using is Peace to You at Christmas. And that's from this stamp set. So let me mention again the stamp sets. I mentioned it yesterday, but I want to mention it again. So a couple of the ones I'm using are discontinued, and then I'm using So Very Merry. There's Peace and Joy in there, and Brightest Glow, and also Ring with Nature has a pretty Merry Christmas. So I have a lot of different stamp choices, but again, if you don't have any of these stamps, this does come with this gorgeous stamp set, and it's called Night Divine. It's on page 16 of the mini catalog. So let me bring in that Versamark. And I'm going to stamp right there. Now I'm going to emboss that with white embossing powder. Now I'm just going to heat that. Now I'm going to cut it out with that die. And again, that die is from the Falling or All About Autumn. Okay, so we have all of our pieces cut out. I'm going to put them off to the side here so I can keep working in the middle here. And basically what I did with the animals was I put the little bit of crumb cake behind each animal so it would make the, when you put this on the paper, it makes it show up a little bit better. So every single one of my little animals, I have a little crumb cake behind it, just like that. So the black is in front, and then I just kind of glued them with that little bit of crumb cake showing behind. So I'm going to do that right now. The lamb has a lot of little cutouts in it, so I'm going to use a glue dot rather than the glue because the glue will seep through. Okay, so I got all that done. This piece I can go ahead and glue together, so I have that little backdrop of the crumb cake. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue the crumb cake to the card base and the Pretty Designer Series paper. So as you can see, I just have a really fine little edge, a little border of the crumb cake, and it's just barely touching the Night of Navy 2. I like the way that looks, and I will have all the sizes for this on my blog or down below in the description where it says project sheets. You can click on the link there and it'll take you right to my blog. We have all the sizes, measurements, and shopping links. Okay, so now for the animals, I'm just going to place them down here. It looks so pretty. This little scenery is just gorgeous. So I'm just going to kind of pop them up with dimensionals and place them on my card. The cow and the sheep, I used the mini dimensionals, or you could cut the larger dimensional in half. And the lamb, I kind of just put them a little bit behind the donkey like that. And the same thing for our sentiment, we're going to pop that up. Before I pop him up, before I pop that sentiment up, I'm going to place my clouds down and see where I want the clouds to be and where I want the sentiment to be, and I'm basing it all on that pretty scenery, depending on what I want to cover up and what I want to show. So, and then this cloud, I gave it a cut, so it has a straight edge, just because it makes it look a little bit different. And then we'll put that one there. Okay, I'm going to stamp on the inside real quick, and then we'll put some embellishments on the front. So I'm going to bring in Night of Navy, and the stamp I'm going to use is "Oh Come Let Us Adore Him." That's from this discontinued stamp set called For Unto Us. But again, don't forget, there is a gorgeous stamp set that coordinates with these dies if you don't have any of these older stamps. Isn't that pretty? Love it. So I'm going to glue this to the inside, then we'll put some embellishments on the front. And for the embellishments, I am just going to use the rhinestones because I think they really make this card pop. And so we'll just put some here and there. So there you go. So though, yeah, those rhinestones, it's just a subtle little touch, but it really makes a difference on your card. It looks like little sparkling stars in the sky. So again, put that little bit of crumb cake behind the black cardstock, and it really makes the animals stand out. And then inside, "Oh Come Let Us Adore Him." So that's today's card. Hope you liked it. Go ahead and leave comments, ask questions, let me know. Tomorrow we have another fun card with the same die set. So make sure you come back Click that notification bell so you don't miss out. I'd hate for you to miss it. Don't be shy. Stamp and shout.